A series of escalating crises are revealing something to the world about the United States. But this has long been known by those of us who are pushed to the margins of our society. If you are Black or brown in America, if you are working class or struggling to make ends meet, if you are a woman, if you are queer, you know you don't write the rules, even if you carry the burden. If you have had to wait hours in line to vote, only to get a broken voting machine, you know our democracy was not built for you. And if you turn on the TV and see candidates fighting each other, but rarely fighting for you, you know the people who run and fund the major political parties don't care about you. The Working Families Party is the party for the multiracial working class, fighting for a nation that cares for all of us. We are building a political home for those who see bigotry, billionaire bailouts, and business as usual in our political system and ask, is that the best we can do? What do we mean when we say political party? For us, it means people doing transformational organizing together to win elections. We advance a shared platform informed by a clear ideology. Plainly put, we believe that none of us is free until all of us are free. Liberation will come when the most oppressed and the most impacted people become the most empowered. As a party, our organizing centers Black people, brown people, women, gender non-conforming folks, and the poor and working class. We take questions of power and victory very seriously. We play to win, not to simply make a point, because working people deserve to win real change. Since 1998, we have been doing the hard work of organizing and winning elections all over the country. Our goal is to achieve the power to govern at the local, state, and national level. But we also know that the two-party system in America is a maze of rules and power players that are determined to oppose our movements for liberation. So we have to hack the system. The WFP has a long-term strategy to put working people in power across the country. Together, we build from the bottom up until we replace all the people who govern on behalf of the billionaire class, so we can build a country for the many, not the few.
Welcome, everyone. I know folks are still joining. We are so excited to have you here with us today. Welcome to the South Carolina Working Families Party meet and greet with our senior advisor, Miko Pickett. For those who don't know, my name is Brittany Whaley. I am the Southeast Regional Director for the Working Families Party. I am joining you tonight from Atlanta. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'll be moving us through this program on tonight. So again, welcome for folks who have joined, for people who are still joining. You just, if you were with us, saw a lovely video explaining a little bit about Working Families Party. Who are we? For those who don't know and have never heard of us, the Working Families Party is a multiracial grassroots political party. We recruit, train, and elect the next generation of leaders and have really been at the forefront of this movement to elect champions for working families up and down the ballot across the country. You may be saying, why South Carolina? Why are we having this call? We've actually been in South Carolina since 2009. We'll talk a little bit about fusion voting and what has made it possible for us to be in South Carolina as a political party. We feel like South Carolina is in a unique position to engage in electoral work and party building work. We have a ballot line and fusion voting, which again, I will get to in a minute, and a growing base of supporters. And we've communicated with thousands through our email list. Additionally, more broadly, because I manage the Southeast region, we have really doubled down on what it looks like to invest in historically excluded communities, what it looks like to invest in non-traditional candidates. So people who work 9 to 5 and come home, and from 6 to 10, they are organizing their community around getting a speed bump or keeping our community safe or fighting for tenant rights or fighting for a living wage. Like, these are the folks who we want to empower to represent us in all of our elected bodies, from the U.S. Senate down to, our municipal races at city council and so forth. And so it is a mandate for us to make sure that every day working class people have access to our democracy, understand what is going on in government, and can participate in government because they have leaders who believe in co-governance, who believe in transparency, and believe in fighting for the least among us. And so I am really excited, like I said, to be here with you, to be sharing this space. I'll talk a little bit about the 5 building blocks of power as we see it at Working Families Party. And then we'll get into an intro of Miko Pickett. I know a lot of you have come here because you're like, what is South Carolina Working Families Party cooking up? What is Miko doing? A lot of you came because you heard that we brought her on as a senior advisor. She's someone I respect a lot, and I'm really excited to have a Q&A and have her introduce herself. Before we go there, I'm going to talk about the 5 building blocks of WFP and how we see our role in building power. And so the first, at the very base, is building a mass base of WFP voters. So we identify WFP voters every year. In every election campaign, we talk to thousands and thousands of people, and we ask them to pledge their support for WFP's People's Charter. Our People's Charter is a shared vision for a nation in which we care for each other and care for our planet. So in South Carolina, in the last few years, since 2020, we have done more than 1 million voter contacts in the state. We've endorsed candidates from U.S. Senate, again, down to council races. And all of these folks, we talk to them about WFP, we talk to them about the values, and we talk to them about how we build governing power. Second, we recruit and develop people just like you, just like me, right? Everyday people to become volunteers and leaders in the party. So what stake do you have, right, in the game? We ask you to come to inform what we're doing in the party and to take leadership. Third, we bring individual activists and leaders and organizations representing millions of working people. Our year-round task is to align these forces in a political party that belongs to all of us. The next, we all know that the powers that be try to keep us out of the political system. So sometimes they do this by making it hard to play the game, right? We elect elections, or we elect people to office, but we are elections organizers. So we learn the game. right? When you know the game, you know how to play the game, then you can win. Lastly, we build ideological power. What does this mean? So we ensure that voters know the difference between a grassroots candidate who will fight for our people and a politician who answers to billionaires or to an elite class or to people who feel like who are disconnected, quite frankly. So the WFP creates a seal of approval for working people's champions that lets voters know which is which. On election day, we understand that voters have a choice and they are making a decision, and we want to crystallize that decision for them. Every day we work to tell more people about the WFP, about what we stand for, including lifting up our people to run for office. So that means every day more voters who's really, it means every day we communicate with voters who's really on their side, who will stand with them unapologetically when the doors are closed, and who will advocate for the interests, again, of everyday working class people. And so I wanted to ground us in that for people who, some people are familiar with Working Families Party in South Carolina because we've done work here or there, but some people aren't. And for the people who are not, we hope that the video that we shared and this very short presentation on the 5 building blocks of WFP power can be insightful in helping to really think through if this is a political home for you. So without further ado, I am going to introduce, this is the reason we are here. We are super excited. My team is excited. The organization is excited. I'm going to introduce Miko Pickett, who just came on board as our senior advisor for South Carolina. I met Miko in 2020 when she was running for office, and had a chance to spend, I think it was a day, maybe 2 days with Miko in a candidate training. But for those who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, Miko is the founder of T4C consulting firm. She ran for office in 2020. And I don't know how she does it. She's one of those leaders who had a 9-to-5 in corporate America for 30 years and had a 6 to 10 or whatever time you finished up at night doing community work. But she's the vice chair of the South Carolina Food Policy Council for their board of directors. And she's also the executive director of PIC 42 Foundation. So Miko, hi.
Yay. Hello, Brittany, my friend, my new colleague. I'm so glad to be here.
I am glad to have you. We are excited. So Miko, maybe just in the off chance that someone doesn't know you and know your story, can you spend a few minutes just telling people who you are?
Sure, absolutely. Well, hey, look, I am so glad that you guys are joining today. You really summed it up pretty well, right? I'm just a girl from New Jersey who moved to South Carolina. My husband is originally from South Carolina, born and raised, and we're actually living in the home that he was raised in. And the community of Mullins has embraced me. This is our forever home. And we just love the community work that we do. And in that, we see that in order to get the change that we need, Brittany, we're going to have to build power. The people who live in the community are going to have to be the ones that are the decision makers, right? So I saw that right off the bat. I'm like, wait, this ain't right, right? You know, the community that I live in is actually 60% African American, the county overall. The city that I live in is over 70% African American. The 1 in 4 people live below poverty. 1 in 4 people in the community that I live in. You know, but that's not our whole story. When we look at the state of South Carolina as a state is 26% African American. It is the 6th blackest state in the nation. But yet, when I look at the state house, when I look at the state senate, when I look up and down school boards and wherever else we want to look, I don't see us represented. And then, you know, when you think about people who look like me, women, as well as people who may not look at me, but they're the working class people in this state. So those are the ones we need to fight for, right? The people who go to work every single day. And thank you for the props, because you're right. You know, it is tough having a 9-to-5 and then, you know, working your side gigs and doing what you have to do. But a lot of times, Brittany, we know working people have to do this just to stay alive. right? Just to be able to feed the family, and food is important, which is why I am so proud to be the vice chair of the Food Policy Council. But, putting that aside, I'm so glad to be sitting right here with you virtually today, Brittany. The Working Families Party, y'all, you just wait. Brittany has only skimmed the surface. There's so much more to learn.
I'm so excited. I appreciate you. And I just want to lift that up, right? Like food insecurity is an issue that you're working on, right? You came out of corporate America where you retired after 30 years working in corporate America. You ran for office and is like you're a strong voice and champion for people in their everyday needs. And so when we think about who's running for office, one of the reasons why I got into this work, I've been doing candidate development, recruitment, and training since 2013. And one of the reasons I got into this work is because, like you said, I didn't see people who were out in these streets who were, it may be the people who are sitting on the porch and they know everyone in the community. If you go to them, they can tell you the issues. They can tell you by name what's happening, and they capture all the things that you don't see in a newspaper or on the news, right?
Right.
Like those weren't the people who were given platforms to advocate for our folks, right? But they had everything that they needed. So I started doing this training and started to do this type of work because I'm like, wait, I've worked on a campaign, right? I can teach them the skills and the tools that they need, and they have a heart for the people. So together we can start to empower our communities so that the people who are closest to the issues are also empowered to make these decisions and to serve our people. And so I really appreciate that.
I got to tell you something, guys. So if you're a candidate and you're thinking about running for office, I took Brittany's class. Like she said, that's where we met. And I told Brittany my story. And I said, I'm this girl from Jersey. Don't nobody know my name, but I just have this passion for the community. And she said, wait a second. She's the one that came up with my campaign slogan. And my campaign slogan was, I may not be a household name, but I'm running for every household. So, Brittany, here's the funny thing. You came up with that. And don't you know, to this day, people say to me, well, you're a household name now.
Nice.
So that's you. That's all you.
I love it. I love it.
To have you in South Carolina, to have the Working Families Party and all the power behind the Working Families Party in South Carolina, y'all, we're going to really work for the working families of South Carolina like no one has ever done or cared to do before.
Awesome. So Miko, I have something to ask. While we're talking about running for office and your experience, I know we saw the RSVP list. We saw some candidates who were registered for this. And you're sitting in this seat now and you have the mic. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, your run for office, but how it connects with the work you're doing now across the state and what that means for Working Families Party.
Sure, absolutely. And so again, I'm speaking to those that are either running for office, you're an incumbent, or you are retired, you ran for office and decided not to run again, but you are progressive. The one thing that I found, Brittany, was that, the things that I was campaigning for, a lot of people told me I was crazy. The political folks. What do you mean, Miko, saying that you believe that the minimum wage could be $15, right? What do you mean saying that people need to recover from these disasters? Your dreams are too big. They'll never come true. But guess what? We're seeing that the working people, there's a movement out there of working people, and things are changing for working people. So guess what? I wasn't all that crazy. But I did not have a home. I was in the Democratic Party, and Brittany will explain that we, Working Families Party, does not compete with the Democratic Party. I am a Jim Clyburn Fellow. I am a yellow card carrying, it's yellow dog carrying Democrat, right? I am a Democrat. My friends are Democrat. I am a Jim Clyburn Fellow. However, as a progressive, Brittany, I didn't have a home, right? And so also what I found was that there's this incumbency protection. So if you're an incumbent, the party was like, well, you got to kind of have to make your way. you know. And even when I went for endorsements, I was able to garner the endorsement of the of Planned Parenthood, and I thank them very much for that. But the other folks that I went, because I'll ask anybody, the other organizations that I went to and said, hey, I'm a progressive. We need to make these kind of changes in our community, in our state. Can I have your endorsement for office? And you know what they told me? They listened to what I had to say. I filled out the checklist. I did the interviews. They thought I would be a good person. But you know what they told me? Well, if you're elected, come back to us. So they're not going to help me because they had to support the incumbent.
Yeah, let's talk. Okay. The political courage is what I heard you talking about.
Okay.
Like you have the political courage. A lot of people don't have the political courage. WFP, we want to open up some of that for folks, right? Like I think folks want to be bold in this moment. A lot of people are hurting, and COVID only exacerbated things. And so really just opening up that space. One thing that I just want to, we're going all out of turn here, and that's okay. We're going to roll with this.
That's it. That's my Brittany.
South Carolina has fusion voting. So for a lot of people, they're like, what does this mean? Like you're a third party. I see these black women. Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, and we're talking about another party. Like, help me. What's the container? How are we moving through this? South Carolina has fusion voting. And so what that means, only a handful of states in this country have fusion voting. That means that Miko could run for General Assembly, State House, right? She could run on the Democratic ballot line. She can also run on the Working Families Party line at the same time. And when I go to the ballot or to cast my ballot, I can vote for Miko on the Working Families Party line or the Democratic line, and those votes will be tabulated all the same. And so when we talk about not being a non-delusional political party, we mean it. We want to grow our governing power. And we want to grow our governing power because we believe that having governing power will change. If we have progressives in power and people who are candidates turned electeds who are for the people, then we can change the way our government works, and we can change for the better the material conditions of people who are hurting. And so that's what we're talking about. At the end of the day, I didn't grow up wanting to do this, right? Like it was the conditions around me that said, Britt, you know what? You got to get in the game. Like you got to figure it out. Like something has to change, something has to shift. And a lot of people come into this work in the same way. And so when you're thinking about your political home, the WFP, when we say it's a stamp of approval for progressives, it means you go to the ballot box and you can vote for one of our candidates on the WFP line in South Carolina and know that that candidate is going to fight for a living wage. They're going to vote. You're not sitting across from someone and trying to convince them that $15 an hour in a union is feasible. You're strategizing with them to figure out how you can get it. Right. And that's a completely different conversation. It's not whether you deserve it. They're saying, yes, we know that we all deserve to have and to make a living wage and be able to care for our families and put a roof over our heads and feed our children. Right. Let's talk about how we get there together. And so that's the importance of this. Like Miko said, it's not a divisive us versus them. It really is about how we make this work for our people. And one thing that I manage the Southeast region, so I'm in the South, right? One thing that I like to highlight is, we talk about Fannie Lou Hamer and we look at the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, right? And we look at the work that was done, building from SNCC, building from civil rights. And you have to think like there had to be at some point a moment where Fannie Lou Hamer said, okay, this is a space in which I'm occupying. It's not 100% aligned with my politics. And so I have to create a space that accepts me, create a space where I can organize, be my authentic self, and quite frankly, disrupt. I was about to say interrogate, but disrupt this duopoly?
We have to. We have to. Because think about it. So, for folks that are out there listening, and let's say you're not a candidate, you're not interested in being a candidate, but I know when you go to vote, when you go to cast your ballot, there's so many different people there, and they may not have said a word to you, right? But you can know for sure if they have the Working Families Party endorsement, that they stand for what the Working Families Party stand for, and what the Working Families Party stand for is working families, right? So, I that's what I really love about why I was like saw out this role as advisor, and can't wait to help kind of shepherd the Working Families Party into South Carolina, Brittany, because we actually we give ex-candidates like myself a home. And I'm not saying I'm not going to run again in the future. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that right now, this is where God wanted me to be. I'm convinced of that. Wanted me to be able to help to bring the Working Families Party to South Carolina so that we can help elect people up and down the ballot box, right? There's a lot of really exciting things that are happening. And when those things happen in our state, I consider it, Brittany, a transfer of power, because we have lost the power in the State House today, right? And I'm not even gonna say what I'm thinking. I'm gonna just stop it right there because I had something on my mind, but I'm gonna leave it for now. But there's more to come.
I desperately want to know, but
we can talk offline.
We will revisit. We will revisit that later. One last question. So as we talk a little bit about like building governing power and people power, like people power movement, right? If WFP and partners are successful in building independent political power,
but okay,
got you. I appreciate you. So when we are successful, because we will win. Tell me what does that mean for South Carolina? And I mean like tangible. Like, what does it mean? What is the difference?
Yes.
In South Carolina.
Let's talk about the fact that South Carolina is also has one of the highest poverty rates in the nation, right? So we're one of the poorest states in the nation. And unfortunately, the county that I live in is one of the poorest counties. There's 6 extremely poor counties in South Carolina, and they all have majority African Americans. But let's just start with increasing the minimum wage, right? We know that we cannot increase the minimum wage without it going through the State House, right? The State House is not going to flip from red to blue overnight. I know that, right? But what we can have, because we have an opportunity in 2022, y'all, this year, there is a race at the top of the ticket in the state. Call them out by name. McMaster has to go. There's people that we can put a Democrat as the top person in the state. And I want to believe that of the candidates that's running, once we do our vetting, that we will find a Working Family Party candidate that we could put at the very. We have a statewide race for U.S. Senate. So I have another political show, and we talk about, the different roles. So y'all, let me explain what U.S. Senate is real quick. U.S. Senate, every state sends 2 people to the Senate, 2 people, right? In South Carolina, we have 2 Republicans that are our U.S. senators. Guarantee you, this year, when it comes to November, the general election in November, there will be a Black woman running against Tim Scott for U.S. Senate. There will be. That's a guarantee, right? I know we all know that because filing is done. Okay, so now we look at that's the very highest level of political position in our state. Then we have State House, we have school boards, we have all of these different levels. So let's say and actually the superintendent of schools is running for re-election in our state. So maybe just maybe we can't get the political power overnight to increase wages. But guess what? Cities can set minimum wage. City councils have control over setting minimum wage. The school boards have the ability to determine how much they pay their teachers. And I don't want to hear it that they don't have the money. It's about priorities, right? Then you've got even bigger things happening nationally, right? Imagine if we had just one more person. So right now, and then I'm going to stop because I keep going, but at the in the state Senate, in the US Senate, it's 50-50 right now. Every state gets to send 2 people. There's 50 Democrats and there's 50 Republicans. And South Carolina has 2 Republicans over there. And one of our guys that is over there is Tim Scott. Imagine if we had a Black woman Senate, then we would have 51-49. That would be a complete balance. That would change the power structure, right? So I was out there 2 years ago, like, go Georgia, go Georgia, go Georgia. How cool would it be if South Carolina was the state that the rest of the country was pulling for? It can happen. The only thing we need to do is we got to vote. And to vote, those folks that are listening to me and Brittany right now, we know you guys are with it. We know that you're listening. You're not doing something else. You're here with us right now. We need you to help us to get to those other people. We need you to help us to explain why it's important to elect candidates that are working for the working families of South Carolina. Not somebody they know, somebody they went to school with, a name they recognize, who is inept, who's not qualified and has never been qualified to do the job from the beginning, but it got there. So the Working Families Party, I am so excited to be here. They have resources that are coming to our state. We're going to help candidates like me that could not get help before. We're going to make a difference in South Carolina, but we can't do it without the people. And so, again, I'm sorry, Brittany, you asked me a very basic question. I just went crazy.
I'm like, I can't even, Miko, take it away. Like, I'm like, what? This is about to be a mic drop moment. Like, I'm here for it.
Did I lie? Did I see Jay? I see you, Jay. I see you, Deanna. Yes, we can absolutely do it. You know, McMaster has to go. I see you guys in the Facebook comments. And, you know, don't forget, Brittany, I see you. Listen, Brittany Wiley is amazing. Y'all want to know about the Working Families Party? Drop your questions in the live. We just have, I'm not sure. How long are we going to go, Brittany? Are we going to go 45 minutes?
We were, but let's see if there are questions. We're here.
Yeah, so come on, drop your questions. If you're a candidate, you want to find out what the endorsement process looks like. If you are just somebody, let's talk about Bet on Us.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let's talk about Bet on Us. So, Bet on Us is a program we started in 2019 with house parties. So at first it was a listening session where we held space for Black women and Black non-binary folks, and really just asked them, like, what do you want to see in your leaders, right? Like, how do you want government to show up for you? Coming with curiosity. The framing was essentially, the reason it is called Bet on Us, or named Bet on Us, is because, you know, oftentimes we talk about Black women being the backbone of the Democratic Party, doing everything from registering voters, turning out our communities, saving our democracy, right? But there's very little emphasis and support when we talk about betting on Black women. What does it mean to bet on us? What does it mean for us to be in leadership roles? What does it mean for us to run campaigns and to train people from community to do that, or to run for office and support the vision of Black women, understanding that we bring an intersectional framework to the policymaking process? So what does it mean to bet on us? That was a framing, and that's really what informed the name. And so it's really a leadership development program where we invest in Black folks across movement. So we've done organizer cohorts. We did a 6-month training session in partnership with Repower, where we just went through the organizing skills. What do you need? And during COVID, what do you need? How do you connect with people? Let's build a peer community where we can learn from each other and figure this out, because we know that we're still organizing, right? For the candidate cohort, we did a candidate cohort in 2020, and we're doing another one. We're launching another one here, and the application is doing about a week. It'll be open to South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. We know that a lot of women candidates, specifically Black women, their entry point is in primary elections, and a lot of institutions do not get involved in primary elections. We need to get involved in primary elections. It gives voters a choice, right? And not just a choice to have a choice, but again, that's where we can really contend for power. And so we'll be doing that cohort program.
Wait, I don't want people to miss that, Brittany. She said that we will endorse in primary elections, right? That's not something that has happened in the past, right? So I shared you my story, how I went to these folks and said, I need your help with my campaign. And they said, not in the primary, not the Working Families Party. If you're progressive, we're going to encourage you to apply and go through our vetting process to get our label. But get this, we got some questions. Let me go get some of these questions for you, okay? Here's one.
Oh, wait, Miko, the last thing, sister circle, the house parties.
Yes.
We're doing some Bet on Us house parties. That's all I say. We can go to the questions, but we'll make sure we post this on the South Carolina Working Families page tomorrow or tonight.
Yeah, so actually that's an answer to this question. The question is, how can we support you in your great efforts? They can have sister circles. They can bet on us. Can you explain what they can do? Because I'm going to be asking. I want you guys to help me be successful. This is my new job, my new gig, okay? And I have goals. And one of my goals is to host a certain number of Bet on Us sister circles all across this state. So you can open up your house. And if they open up their house, Brittany, how would that work?
Yeah, so we will give you, it's a distributed program. We'll give you the toolkit. We'll prepare you with the questions. We will, when possible, be there. And it's an informal space. So really it's a time for us to come together to talk about the issues that are important to us, and then collectively move our people to action. So everything, most things with WFP, it leads to an electoral intervention. So how does this issue connect to what's on the ballot, right? You're talking about money for schools earlier, right? Who's running for office, and that's under their purview. If you're talking about, we've seen a lot of anti-abortion bills come up. You're talking about the state ledge. Like, how do these issues connect to what's on the ballot and how we move our people to action? So for those house parties, we'll give you everything that you need. You're not doing anything from scratch. We give you the template. We help you with a turnout plan. We make sure that you got some food and something to drink, because we know that we like to convene and break bread, right? That's the space. So give you what you need.
South Carolina, because we're new, Brittany, I'm just gonna go on the record to say I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that at least I'm there. At least I'm there for your Bet on Us sister circles. But we have another question. So this question is from Jay Belton. He says, what is the message we need to carry to excite voters who have lost interest in the political apparatus? Oh, that's deep.
The message. Yeah, that is deep. What's his name? Jay? Thank you for that, Jay. I think I always start, like, as organizers, I always start with the conditions. Like, what do people care about? So at first it's a listening session. Even when we go to doors, we've started to do more deep canvassing, which is really connecting with issues with voters based on the issues. It really is about, when I say changing the material conditions, I want to know, what are those conditions? Like, what do you care most about, right? And then we can talk about how that connects to what's on the ballot. But it's not voting for the sake of voting, right? If you had a ballot and there's not a good candidate on the ballot, or you can't build power with your community to pressure that candidate, to put pressure on them to move in the way that's in the best interest of the community, it's off or not. So I think all those things are relevant as we're talking about not just the messaging, but we're talking about building power. And the reason we keep going back to that is because we want to not just win an election. If the election day is November 3rd, we want to win that election on November 3rd, but we want to build the infrastructure in the communities so that on November 4th, when we got to hold people to account or got co-govern with people who we've had elected, we got the muscle, right?
Yes.
To do just that, to continue organizing around issues, around elections, and for the results that we want.
And that's a great point. Everything, Brittany, you're saying is just awesome. And I hope you guys in South Carolina that are listening to this are as excited as I am. However, remember, we've seen people come and go in this state. I would not have taken this role if it wasn't for the commitment of Work and Families Party. They got a multi-year plan. They're not going anywhere, right? We will win, and they're going to be here for the long term because they understand that to come to a new state means an investment. So, that we have a program that's bet on us. But Brittany, I want to say Work and Family Party is investing in us. You guys are investing in South Carolina, and you all going to be here. Look at this one. I got a very good question. So, so I'm really, really excited about what this will do, how we will identify progressives, people who are working for the people. A lot of people get into politics, I find out, for all different reasons. But there's some people that get into doing this work because they care about the people, because they want to go to the city council, the county council, the school board, the U.S. Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, the governor's seat, because they want to work for you. And those are the people that I'm in charge of setting up the platform, I say, to vet them. And we're going to make sure that we vet these folks. And when they get that Work and Family Party's stamp of approval, you can feel confident that they're going to work for the people. And like Brittany said, when they get elected on November 3rd, on November 4th, guess who's going to be knocking on their door, making sure that their votes are going the right way. So you got a question from, actually, this is Bishop John Wright, and he wants to know, how can one donate?
Bishop, he's like, okay, I know how to organize people, and one thing is to organize money. If you want to donate, you can. The best way the easiest way is probably just to text member, the word member, to 30403.
Okay. I'll put that out there. So
yeah, text member to 30403.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much, Bishop. And I'm going to go ahead and put that out there, leave it out there for people to see for a second.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so, we've got a lot of work to do in this state, right? We definitely do. Let me see. Oh, guess what? Guess who is, we got Crystal Matthews. And she has a question.
I think I just responded to an email from Crystal Matthews. What's the question?
What is the thing you want to impact the most? Crystal Matthews, everybody, she's running for U.S. Senate.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm saying I know, but you make sure. What's the thing you want to impact the most? So in this work, and even as I bring this to this work, like I'm always thinking about community, and in particular, like my family, like how I'm honoring people who came before me, and fought for wins, both small and big, right? So I think given that, like, we're building community really to impact our government and how it works, and making sure that it works for people. When I talk about organizing, I wasn't joking. I was talking about organizing money, right? It's one of the things that we have to do, but we also have to organize people, because when we have people power, then we understand that just on a fundamental level, right, that it's going to be grounded in community and grounded in the values that we all share. So we go back to living wage. We go back to, if you think education is the great equalizer, then how do we make sure that our babies have a quality education, right? Because we all deserve it, and some of us are not getting it. And so the thing that we're trying to impact and really affect is government and how it works, and making sure that it works for all of us. So we always say we're the party for the many, not the elite few, right? And we mean that. We mean that people who have those 9 to 5s and they don't have 5 hours in the evening to look at our archaic, government systems, that they can still trust that government is working for them. And if they come to a WFP meeting and we're honored to have them, as a part of our political family, then they can start to inform the political agenda. They can start to inform the platform, so that when folks come to South Carolina, I'm thinking of the presidential, or even when folks pop up on the ballot every year, you have a starting place, and the starting place is the community and the platform that has been established.
Yes, absolutely. And another follow-up question, I think it's kind of related. It's not a question, it's a statement. Quana James says, please get your message out to the churches.
Quana, where are you? Where's your church home? Bishop, where are you? Yes, let's do it.
And here's Brittany. Brittany, she says, hey, look, we got to always honor our ancestors that fought before us. Absolutely. That's why we do it. Brittany, you said earlier, you didn't envision that you would be in this seat. And I'm going to tell you for a fact, Assistant Vice President Miko Pickett in corporate America never thought she would be here. But guess what? I love it. Every day I get up, I thank God for this opportunity. And it's just the most exciting thing to do when you're working for the people. And for those that live in Marion County, the support that they give me, Brittany, here is so cool. I can't tell you how many times people text me, when they see me on the street, they just tell me that they support me. Keep going. And we're going to take this Marion County fever that we have statewide. But we're not alone. We're doing it with the Working Families Party. So just so excited about that. And if you guys can, another way that you can help is you can sign up, right? You get information, text SC to 30403. And please do that so you can get information as we grow. Invite your friends. Quana, open up the door. We'll be happy to come into your churches, right? So send me a message. Those of you that know me, send me a message on Facebook. I share my email. I'm Miko at workingfamilies.org. Email me. And I'm sure there's some other ways Brittany's going to work on for you guys to get in touch with us. But hey, look, if you want us to come to your churches, we will be there. You call us, you text us, sign up for the Working Families Party so that you can be in the know. You'll know where we're going and where we're going to be.
I got to correct you. So your email is mpickett@workingfamilies.org.
I
know you just got it like a few
Let
days
me post it, y'all. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. No, but before, like when I met Miko, I would joke. I'm like, I think I live between South Carolina and Georgia. I don't know, because I was doing training in South Carolina every month, coming to do meetings, but just, meeting people where they are. So yeah, Miko, I think we pretty much covered it. We talked about Bet on Us a lot. Other ways to get involved, we have our candidate endorsements. We, on the other side of those endorsements, we want to activate our folks, and we want to activate and continue to grow, right? So we have our own texting system. We have our own phone banks. We want to do community outreach, right? So we want to do education, voter education, so people know how to show up at the polls, when to show up, as well as who's on the ballot. And so there are a lot of opportunities. Like Miko said, the best way to keep up with us, the Facebook page, or text SC to 30403, and we push out our broadcast text messages. But there won't be a shortage of opportunities. Miko's been with us now for all of a week, and I have a growing list of things that I'm being organized to do, and I love it.
Yes, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And and the thing is that when we put out, again, I'm telling you guys, there is power behind this Working Family Party endorsement. There are resources behind this Working Family Party endorsement. If you consider yourself, if you're not a progressive, don't even. If you're a moderate, don't even, seriously, because it's not about that, right? And I've talked to some candidates that say, well, people make enough money in this state. No, they don't. No, they don't. People are food insecure in this state. People don't have enough. They don't have enough to deal with the basics. Working families struggle every single day. They tell me all the time. So if you're one of them, don't bother. But if you are progressive and you are going to office to work for the people, as soon as we put out the link for endorsement, I implore you to go ahead and fill out the form, and that will begin the vetting process.
Yeah, and you can actually go to the website now. We'll send it out as well, but workingfamilies.org. So if they're interested, Miko, they can go there now. There'll be a tab on the I think it's the right-hand side, but it'll say endorsements or candidates. Once you go there, it'll say 2022 questionnaire, and you can fill it out. From there, it's pretty self-explanatory. So we look forward to receiving that, and we'll be sending out an email as well, just so that it's in your inboxes if you have folks you want to kind of forward it to. But yeah, the endorsement process that is open. The Bet on Us cohort program, that application is due April 15th. So that's the cohort for candidates, Black women and non-binary folks who are running. You could be running in 2022, 23, or 24, right? So a part of it is early prep as well. And then the last thing is the Bet on Us, the house parties. If you're interested in holding space in your home, opening it up to people you love and trust and probably break bread with anyway, right? Invite them, connect with Miko so we can get a date on the calendar and we can make it happen.
Yes, I am so excited. And there's so much more to come. I thank you all for this opportunity in South Carolina. Y'all just wait.
Thank you, Miko. I appreciate
you for the comment, Brittany. Not you, Brittany. There's Brittany Martin in the text, and we appreciate you. We see that comment and we appreciate it.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, Brittany's. We roll deep. But no, it's been nice. Thanks for spending time with us on this evening. We're really excited. We hope that you, again, text SC to 30403 so we could be in touch. Miko's put her email out there, mpickett@workingfamilies.org, and we'll also send a follow-up and follow this up with post on the South Carolina Working Families Party page tomorrow.
And for folks that know me, they know I love to go live. So when I have information, we're going to be going live with it. And that's the other thing I love about this party is its transparency. So you will see that there's no lack of this, because you cannot be a party for the people and not be transparent, right, Brittany?
You have to. I mean, they'll make us. Come on now. We have to hold ourselves to those same standards. That we're asking our elected officials and our government to do that. We have to do that. We owe that to ourselves.
Yay. I think we're in for questions. We have another statement. Brittany, we see you out there. You want to reach out to us, please do. Please do. She's in Sumter County. So definitely, Brittany, reach out to us and we will be in touch.
Nice.
And thank you so much, Deanna. We see you representing out there. We appreciate it. All righty. Well, guys, until next time, we will be back. And thanks again, Brittany.
Yes, thank you.